You're watching Tackle Talk Live, now into our 6th season, as your #1 resource for bass tournament information, with a primary focus on both Toledo Bend and Sam Rayburn. Your hosts, Iowa Pro staffer Steve Graff and Territory Manager for Sportco Marketing, Kevin Jean. Two guys with years of successful tournament experience on all levels. Guys who understand the importance of good information. Anglers willing to share their knowledge to help you become a better angler. So pay close attention as these guys give you more insight on how, when, and where to catch winning stringers. Here are your hosts of Tackle Talk Live, Steve Graff and Kevin Jean.
Happy New Year. It's 2026 and it's time for a new season of Tackle Talk Live. I'm Iowa Pro staffer Steve Graff, along with Territory Manager for Sportco Marketing, Kevin Jean. And Kevin, man, we're going to kick off the new year with a great story, man. And we're going to kick it off right.
Well, yeah, great story, Steve, but hate to hear it. So Evan Howe, the kid that won the BFL and Sam Rayburn this past weekend, got disqualified. We're going to break it down, guys. We're going to break it down. You're going to hear it straight from the horse's mouth. You're going to hear what happened from his side. You're going to hear as to why he got told he got DQ'd from MLF. You're going to hear it all. Look, we're going to ask him some tough questions too, and I warned him this before the show. Evan, we're going to ask the questions that people want to know. So I hate to hear this. We felt like 2025 ended kind of on a sour note with the DQ stuff, and here we are starting 2026 with it. But it's going to be an interesting show, Steve. That's for sure.
Yeah, it is. We're going to talk about that. And of course, that won't be the only thing we talk about today. We're going to talk about the Rayburn Lake level news. There's some things that I have learned over the past week or so, actually 2 weeks, and about why it's still low. Well, we'll tell you why. We'll also give comments that were made at the BFL with regards to the new forward-facing sonar rule. Did they like it, not like it? What was the comments being made at the weigh-in? Everybody's some are disgruntled, just like Kevin, you and I both are. You ain't never going to satisfy everybody. I don't care what you do. But anyway, and that's part of our question today. Is there any way to satisfy all bass tournament anglers with regards to forward-facing sonar? So,
yeah, definitely not, Steve. But also on top of Evan talking about his DQ and his side of the story, we're also going to break down his day on the water. He would have won the event with 20 pounds, 3 ounces. Going to break down how he caught them and things like that. Forward-face sonar, no forward-face sonar, yada, yada, yada. So we'll break down his day on the water as if he would have won it also. So we'll give a little fishing report as well.
Exactly. We're going to do that. And also on the kind of the hot topics for today, did MLF get the results it was after in terms of anglers returning or angler participation with the new 3-hour rule change on forward-facing sonar? We'll discuss that. Talk about, again, why Rayburn is low. And also, I kind of put this in there late, Kevin. Will this warming trend that we're going through right now, if it continues, how does it affect the fish possibly for an early spawn this year? I mean, it's supposed to reach 70 degrees today and been like that for almost a week and a half, 2 weeks. Ever since Christmas, it's been warm. So, yeah. But anyway, we'll talk about that as well. We got lake level reports, and we got a tip of the week. Kevin may have a Shimano product of the week, but anyway, that's what we got for today's show. We're going to take a quick break and recognize a few of our sponsors. And again, we thank each and every one of y'all for staying with us for 2026. And hopefully we're going to be adding a couple more in the near future. But when we return, we're going to visit with BFL angler Evan Howe. You're watching Tackle Talk Live.
A good marine dealer is hard to find, but a great dealer is even harder. But in Iowa, Louisiana, there's a marine dealer that falls into the great category. Power Implements Marine, South Louisiana's go-to dealer for all things related to the boating industry. A Minn Kota, Garmin, and Mercury dealer, guaranteeing you first-rate service in both sales and repair. A great selection of new and used boats to choose from, including Skeeter, G3, Ranger, Camus, and Go Devil. A knowledgeable staff that will treat you like family and are always willing to go the extra mile to ensure you walk out a happy customer. To see everything they have to offer, go to powerimplements.com or stop by 606 East Miller Street in Iowa, Louisiana. Plus, mention Tackle Talk Live and save $500 off a new or pre-owned boat or $50 off your first service ticket. Toledo Health is a full-service primary and acute care clinic. Nurse practitioners Jarrett Rule and Melissa Vines bring quality health care that's needed and convenient to the area. Nothing is worse than being sick on your family or fishing getaway. Whether it's a stomach virus or a hook in the hand, Toledo Healthcare will try and meet all your health care needs. Appointments available and walk-ins are always welcome. So the next time you're feeling down at Toledo Bend, stop by Toledo Healthcare, located on Highway 6 just south of Toledo Town, or call 318-508-5323. Very few stores are a complete one-stop shop, but Cypress Knee Outdoors is such a place. A store within a store. Cypress Knee is located inside 3J's four-way. Whether you need gas, food, drinks, or bait and tackle, they have it. Cypress Knee Outdoors carries top-name fishing brands like Strike King, Sandtone, Spro, and V&M. Crappie jigs from Bobby Garland. Need hunting gear? They have it. Ammunition from rifle to shotgun shells. Deer scents from Buck Wild and Doe and Heat. Deer stands from Titan and feeders from T-Hanger. Cypress Knee has it all. Located off I-49, exit 127, just south of Natchitoches, Louisiana. So stop by Cypress Knee Outdoors and let John Abram and his staff show you everything they have to offer. Or give them a call at 318-238-HUNT.
You're watching Tackle Talk Live, a show dedicated to making you a better angler. Now back to the guys with all the inside scoop, Kevin Jean and Steve Graff.
Welcome back to Tackle Talk Live. This segment presented by the Lakes Insurance of Nacogdoches, Toledo Health Clinic, Cypress Knee Outdoors, Shimano, and Power Implements Marine, located in Iowa, Louisiana. And if you mention Tackle Talk Live when you go to Power Implements Marine, you get an opportunity to get either $500 off the purchase of a new or used boat, or $50 off your first service ticket, whichever one you prefer. But anyway, make sure you mention Tackle Talk Live. All right, on the Tackle Talk hotline, we've got Evan Howe. By the way, Evan is a Northwestern State angler as well here at NSU. Evan, you know, a tough situation for you, but we understand sometimes we as anglers, we do things we're not supposed to do, not because we're wanting to gain an advantage, but a lot of times we just didn't know the rules.
Yes, sir. That's exactly what happened.
So, Evan, we're going to break this down, man. And I kind of already told the audience, we're going to give you an opportunity to tell your side. We're going to break down what rule you broke and get your version of all of this. So let's start from the beginning of the disqualification. When did you find out, or when did you get a phone call, tournament director or so on and so forth, of, hey, we've got some questions, or we're going to have to look into some things? When did all this get started?
So nothing came on Sunday. It was Monday at about noon. I heard that I may have broken a rule, that I need to, so me and the tournament director were on the phone, and he point blank asked me, he said, "Did you text anybody throughout the day?" I point blank told him, I said, "Yes, sir." I texted my dad. He lives 2 hours away. The long drive, if I don't have any fish, to come to a weigh-in. So I told him if he should come to weigh-in or not. And then I was texting my brother throughout the tournament. So apparently I broke Rule 5 of the MLF, which y'all can read it, or I can.
I'll read it right here. So I'm gonna read it word from word from an MLF rule sheet. So he's telling you broke Rule 5, and that is under off limits practice and competition. And underneath this, and what me and you've already talked, and this is what he texted you, the rule that you broke. Once competition is underway, contestants may not solicit and or receive information about locating or catching fish on tournament waters from anyone except boaters and co-anglers confirmed in the tournament and through publicly available sources, including but not limited to Facebook, Instagram, yada, 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 set up for the specific purpose of sharing information with individuals or a small group of individuals. And that's the rule he told you broke.
Yes, sir. So reading that rule, the word I got hung up on was accept. When it says you can't use any information, obviously you can't go by waypoints. Obviously you can't talk to a licensed guide, or you can't do anything. Where you're trying to gain an advantage on somebody else. Me and my brother are both in the tournament. We're fishing against each other. and we were texting how we were doing throughout the day. But the rule that was broken.
So you and your brother
phone
were
at all.
texting. Your brother's in the tournament. Y'all were texting throughout the day on how you're doing. Was we talking techniques? Was we talking, I caught him doing this? Kind of take me through, or if you want to even read them off, the text messages with your brother who is in this tournament.
Yeah, so it started out as we were talking about how cold we were because it was freezing cold that morning. We both forgot our suits, and then we started talking about I've caught two non-keepers. I said I got one non-keeper. I said I got 14 pounds. He said he had two keepers. I said I had 15 pounds, and then so on and so forth, updating our weights throughout the day, letting each other know how we're doing. And then now where I thought I messed up, and after it was brought to my attention, is I told Ethan after I had caught the 6-pounder, I texted and said, just caught a 6, jig in piles. I thought that's where I may have messed up, but after talking to Mr. Michael, it was me being on my phone at all. But then again, going back to Rule 5, I thought I was good talking within the tournament. And it's not like I was asking my buddy like, hey, did you catch him here last week or anything like that. There was nothing dirty going on. It was I did not understand the rule fully, and I got DQ'd. So it sucks, but
so again, he told you because of Rule 5, and I can understand, okay, because it says except on tournament waters from anyone except boaters and co-anglers. I can understand where you would say, well, he's in the tournament, I can talk to him. But what that rule is meaning is if you see them on the water, you can talk to them.
Right.
But
right.
what I thought, the original conversation I had with you was you would have got disqualified. And maybe you said tournament director sent you Rule 5. I think more so Rule 5, yes, but I think going back to Rule 10, contestants may not use mobile communication devices, included but not limited to cell phones, tablets, radios, to communicate with anyone about locating or catching fish on tournament waters during tournament hours. Mobile communication devices may be used during tournament hours to communicate with lockmasters, about locking to communicate with the tournament director, communicate with MLF editors. So it says no contest. Now this is a whole nother section. I give you that. This is in Rule 10. Contestants may not use mobile communications devices. Did you know about that rule?
So I knew you could not get on your phone to get any information as far as trying to catch fish. Then again, go back to Rule 5 is where I got hung up on. It was my mistake. I misread. I did not understand it, and I'm not trying to deny it. I broke the rules, but that's where I got hung up on. Is I thought you could communicate within the tournament. Yes, I broke. I guess I got Rule 5 and I got most of Rule 10 by being on my phone at all. And talking with Mr. Michael, he's doing his job and he did his job well. And I have no problem with what they're doing. I even told him, I said, this is going to sound crazy. I'm happy this is happening. So now I have faith that y'all are paying attention, that the rules are going to get enforced. And it sucks that I have to be the example, but going back, Rule 5 is where I misunderstood and where everything went wrong from. I usually leave my phone in the dry box in the boat, and because I'm never fishing with a family or a family member's not in the tournament, or my best friends are still college fishing. They haven't started fishing BFLs, that kind of stuff. So I just don't get on my phone. Well, this is the first tournament I had somebody that I'm really close with be on the water with me, and I wanted to see how they were doing, and they wanted to see how I was doing. So it was then again, it nothing dirty, nothing trying to get an advantage on anybody. There was no cheating. I think there's a difference between cheating and breaking a rule, and I broke a rule. I'm owning up to it. Again, it sucks, but I don't want nobody to think that I was out there like, man, I need another fish. You can send me a waypoint or call in a guide. Nothing to that effect. It was texting my brother during a tournament, and oh well.
Well, here's the other deal too. Two things to take away from this. Number one, make sure you read the rules. You know the rules. Number two, turn your phone off. If you're in the boat on tournament day, you're better off just turn that sucker off and do that way. You don't receive calls. You can't make calls. It's off your mind.
Yep.
So that would be the other advice I would have for any angler out there. It's what I do. If I need my phone, some emergency comes up, I just turn it back on. Okay. But turn them off. Next thing I've got that I want to make not only other anglers, but co-anglers especially, if you see something going on in a tournament in the boat and you're in it and you know it's going on, now that MLF has brought back the signature, you're supposed to initial the weigh slip for your guy when you weigh your fish in. Both of you have to account for the other one. You initial his, he initials yours. That means you were good. Everything was good. If there's a problem, you co-anglers or an angler, if you see a co-angler doing something wrong, do not sign that weigh slip. Do not initial it. You need to report it when it happens at the weigh-in. You can't wait 24 hours and all of a sudden say, I need to make a phone call. No, I'm sorry. I have a problem with that. Whether you're right or wrong, report it when that's why that rule is in there. That's why you initial each other's weigh slips before you weigh in, is to make sure nobody did something they weren't supposed to do. So you co-anglers are held accountable for that. And the guys that didn't report that when it happened, I have a problem with y'all, and y'all need to be disqualified as well, in my opinion. So I'll let MLF handle that, but I'm just saying that to me was wrong. But anyway, I commend you, Evan, for doing a great job of coming forth. You could have said, I don't want to do an interview. You didn't back away from this. It shows your integrity. I think you're a good guy. I don't think there's anything anybody will take out of this interview. They'll be like, oh man, that dude's a cheater. No, you're not a cheater. You've been fishing. Oh, and by the way, this is an NSU fishing team member. How long you been fishing, Evan, tournaments?
Well, I just graduated. So I'm no longer with NSU, but I went 3 years. I went to NSU 3 years, traveled the country. It was amazing. Got to see a whole lot of lakes, got to spend a lot of time on the road, hang out with your friends. I mean, it was something that you have to experience in the fishing industry. Growing up, it kind of a bummer, not to sound rude or anything, but all you old folks, y'all missed out on it. So all of the younger generation, you have an opportunity to travel the country and use the school's money to do it. And that's the big thing is, you have an opportunity to go fish in Florida, fish in New York, fish in Alabama. I mean, you get to go everywhere on the school's dime. So why wouldn't you? It was a wonderful time. But now it's over and moving on to bigger tournaments, the BFLs, Toyotas, Fishers and Men, Texas Team Trails. I mean, just kind of anything I can get in. Started out good this year until I got a phone call Monday.
So let's get back to that. You didn't get a phone call. Everything was good Saturday.
Yep.
Good Sunday.
And Sunday, and then Monday you got the phone call. Did tournament director say anything about when you was reported, or how any of that went down?
Our conversation was, he answered the phone at him, casual conversation, how you doing, you're at work, blah, blah, blah. And I was, yes, sir. And then he asked me, he said, did you text anybody? Not hiding anything. I didn't lie about anything. I sent him screenshots of my messages as soon as he asked. I had nothing to hide because I sound like a broken record. Going back to Rule 5, it says accept, and that's where I got hung up on. I mean, that's he was. I respect him. I respect MLF. I'm not upset with their decision. If I broke a rule, I should be DQ'd. And it sucks that I'm the one that is happening to, but I bet people will pay attention now, and I know I will. So I hope people just learn from it and don't make the same mistake twice, because I can promise you I'm going to know every rule book inside and out from now on.
Yeah. Evan,
Yeah, you got to be aware of the cell phone use. I do think that needs to be worded a little bit better. Rule 5. But with BFL, with MLF, I also believe that they should have a communication. Like Rule 5 was under off limits. Rule 10 that says the no cell phone. And look, I'm not taking up for you, Evan. You missed that one. The whole no cell phone.
Yeah.
Using it.
Oh yeah.
But
I missed it.
I do, looking at the Phoenix Bass Fishing League rules, I do wish they would have a communication section, because this gets missed a lot, especially with young kids nowadays. The whole cell phone thing, because you're 100% right. Especially kids your age, they want to talk to their buddies. They want to tell them, y'all are so used to having that cell phone in your hand at all times.
Yep.
You want to text, you want to get on there and do. But to go back to the actual rule that I believe you broke was the non-communication devices. It's under Rule 10 under boat operation. So I can see where you missed that, maybe under, just didn't see the no communication devices that's under boat operation. Steve, I guess what I'm trying to say is BFL, I wish they would have a rule spot for communication.
No, I totally, especially in today's world. I haven't fished the BFLs in several years, or the Toyotas, but I would have assumed, me being fishing all that there would have been a communication section in their rules, and not have two separate rules in two different parts of the rules. I'm like, that's unusual for MLF.
I mean, Evan is coming out completely say, look, I broke the rule. Here's what I did. And he even said, he's like, I even told my brother some techniques that I was using. I told my brother, and I don't know if you said this or me and you said this on the phone, but I'm going to say it for you. You told me, I told my brother I caught a fish out of a brush pile on a jig.
Yeah.
But you thought you were okay. You're saying you thought you're okay because Rule 5 states
he has to be in the tournament.
That your brother's in the tournament. So you thought, but if you would have been within talking distance to him, you would have been okay. But you were not okay because you texted him.
Yeah.
Right. If this whole conversation would have happened in talking distance, there would be nothing wrong with it. But I did it over the phone. And just to kind of reiterate, like, I'm not even trying to defend myself, honestly.
Right.
I broke a rule. And I wasn't, when I was talking to the tournament director, I told him, I was like, look, I'm not arguing with you. I agree with your decision. I wish it wasn't me, but it is. And then I tried to get him to explain the rule to me so it doesn't happen again. And he
what
did.
Was his explanation for that Rule 5? Are we interpreting that right? If you would have been in speaking distance of your brother, or if you would have drove up to your brother and told him something about fishing technique or something,
it has to be public. So I'm assuming if you speak out loud, that is public, or I guess if you think of it hard, you could. Hello.
And I would disagree.
Well, hold on. See, let him finish here. What exactly did he tell you on that rule?
So my understanding from what he told me is towards the bottom of it. He said, yes, he said the top of the paragraph in a way kind of would protect you, but towards the bottom it says it has to be public and text messaging is private. So that's the biggest. I mean, I guess I broke the cell phone rule, period.
The cell phone under 10. That's one he should have sent you, and it would have been plain, cut and dry, simple. Because I'm gonna be honest with you, Evan, I've done more homework before this show than I've ever done Tackle Talk, which I think we've been doing 7 years now.
Yeah.
We've done a lot of shows, and I've done more homework before this one than I ever have. I've talked to other tournament directors. I have brought up to them this rule. I have asked for their opinion. And I read off Rule 5 and one other tournament director. And I'm not saying MLF is wrong or right, but they said, Kevin, I don't understand where he broke Rule 5 now in that section, the way it is read. But you did break Rule 10.
Right.
Oh, no communication devices.
Yeah.
100% broke Rule 10, which I hate to tell you this, but I agree with you that you should have been disqualified under that rule. And you were talking or texting.
Yeah, more under 10 than 5. I would agree.
Yes, and I guess that's where our confusion. If he would have, because right after I was made aware of what happened, I asked my dad. I said, "Can you go?" Because I'm at work. I said, "Can you go look through and just double check and see what's going on?" And anyway, he went and sent me the 2 screenshots. He sent me Rule 5, and then he sent me Rule 10, and he said, "It looks like you probably broke Rule 10, but Rule 5, I don't know." So then I was like, okay, well, I mean, if I broke Rule 10, it happened, but Rule 5 is what the tournament director sent me, and I was like, well. And then I asked him. I said, "So what does it mean?" Because clearly I misunderstood. So
now I can see Rule 5 where he says it has to be public. So let me finish reading it here. So let me get it back out here on Rule 5.
It's like the last sentence says it has to be public.
Well, and that's just like going to a website or a Facebook page or somewhere that anybody can access.
If I would have posted on Facebook and Ethan posted on Facebook to respond, it would have been legal. If I would have saw him on the water and we talked first,
yes, it'd have been
out loud.
It'd have been
legal.
Well, it'd have been shady, but yes, I guess
it would have been.
But it still would have been shady. But
it would have been, and I'm not saying that I'm trying to skirt the rules or anything, but
no.
The way it's read, unfortunately, Evan, when you text your dad, the way it's stated on Rule 10, you broke Rule 10 when you text your dad. Now,
yes,
that's so. Back in the day, in some tournaments, we could text as long as we showed our co-angler the text. And I would tell look, if I catch a bag, my wife is an hour away. I want her to come weigh in. I'm gonna text her, hey, come.
Yeah.
And it happened one time. I text my wife, hey, you need to come to weigh in. I showed my co-angler.
Yeah.
Now it's not worded like that anymore. You're not allowed to use it at all.
Right.
So I do think some of this needs to be cleaned up by BFL, Steve, my opinion. I wish it was a little bit clearer on some of these rules, especially 5 states that you can talk to them. It says nothing about a cell phone, but Rule 10 does say no cell phone use.
Yeah.
So,
well, Kevin, you brought up a very good point earlier. This younger generation, like Evan and so many other guys in his age bracket, their cell phone is second nature to them. I mean, it's in their hand. They've got access to it all the time, and they're used to communicating like that. So they probably need to look at the rules a little bit more and be a little more specific. Maybe I don't know. I'm not a rule writer, but I've fished enough tournaments over my 30 years to know that, and I will say this, and we'll talk about that later in the show. But anyway,
Evan, let's change gears here because you would have won it. You would have won it with 20 pounds, 3 ounces. Let's kind of give a Sam Rayburn fishing report. Let's on what you would have had the biggest bad that day if you'd have stayed off your cell phone. So let's kind of take us through the day here. Take us through, you started the morning out, ran the first spot. Did you catch them there? Kind of take us through your day on Sam Rayburn.
Yeah, and also tell us how practice was.
Let's talk practice. Back up. Let's talk about practice.
Practice. I went out there for 3 or 4 weekends in a row. And it was horrible. The weather was too warm for the shad balls, and I'm not real well. I'm on Toledo. I don't do it. Fishing like bottom of drains and that sort of thing. So I'm not real well at that kind of stuff. I struggled at practice. Let's see. The weekend before the tournament, I had caught a 7 and a 5 on Saturday and Sunday, but I'd get one good bite a day, and I would get to 15 pounds. Well, I was confident in 12 pounds, and I think max out I could get to 17 if I got a big fish. Mm-hmm. So come tournament day, I saw one area in practice above the 147 that I caught 2 3-pounders on a jig, but I saw a bunch of 3 to 4 pounders. Couldn't get them to bite, but I was like, you know what? I ain't got nothing else to go to. I'm gonna go drag a Carolina rig kind of through there on these points and drains, and I'm just gonna see what bites. So go get to our first spot and dragging a Carolina rig, get 5 or 6 bites, caught one non-keeper, and then we're getting up to 8:30, and I tell my co, I said at 9 o'clock I'm gonna turn on my screen. So I held off on the live scoping as long as I could, and then when I realized it's been an hour and a half and I still don't have a fish, something's got to change. So that's when I decided, started making my way over to my drain, turned on the screen, and had a limit within 10, 15 minutes. And that's I had a couple 1-pounders, like a 210 and a 6. I was like, all right, I wasn't ready for a 6-pounder. It was kind of rare in practice to get one of those big ones to commit, even to find them. I was having a hard time finding them. So finally threw in the bottom of the pile and caught that 6. Then keep scoping, stayed in the same area for the whole 3 hours, caught another 3-pounder. Then I had up to 17 pounds just off of the scoping alone. And I was beside myself. I wasn't quite expecting that. I knew there was a chance for it where I was, just off past experiences in that area, that there are big ones that just live there. But I wasn't fully expecting it. So had 17 pounds, like 17 and a half after scoping on a jig, V&M 5/8 ounce football jig, and a freeloader, the 4.5 inch gizzard shad freeloader. So I caught every fish on during the scoping period. So noon, I had to turn it off. And I said, man, these fish are so hard to get to bite with live scope. I'm not even going to try wasting no more time without it. So we run down lake, because I had this one little stump patch in the back of a pocket that I caught a good 4 to 5 pounder out of in practice. So we're just going to go sit there and milk it and see if we can get 1 or 2 bites out of it. So I'm running down lake, and this stump field's down at the bottom of the lake. And I just look at my hummingbird, and I saw this creek swing kind of halfway back in the pocket. And I haven't been in this pocket in a year and a half, 2 years. And I said, screw it. I ain't got nothing but time. I cut a 180, went in there, and within 10 minutes, I'd caught 6 2-pounders and a 5-pounder.
How deep was
just kind of throwing we were 12 foot. The creek swing kind of cut through this stump field, and I got on the inside of the stump field and found a little cleaned out lane in it, and just threw a rattle trap as far as you can, let it hit bottom and slow roll it, and made about 4 or 5 cranks, and it dunked it. And that's what ended up getting me to 20. And I told my co, I was like, look, we've been in here for 15 minutes and already have caught this. I said, there was 12 or 15 other boats in there. And I said, clearly they know something that I don't. And we just caught a 5-pounder real quick. I said, we're going to sit here and we're staying here a while. We fished around, and my co ended up catching his limit, and he caught a 4-pounder. And then that was about my whole day. I ran to one other spot, didn't get a bite, and went to weigh in. I mean, it was a cool story, just kind of terrible practice, and then running down lake and just looked over and saw a creek swing through some stumps. And I said, well, that looks good enough for me. I just kind of went in there and started fishing.
Evan, what's your thought?
But do you feel like without that 3 hours of scoping, would you have?
Oh, don't get me wrong. I am a scoper. Don't get that mixed up.
Yeah, but I'm saying that 3 hours of scoping, then it led to you kind of turning a switch here and realizing what the fish were doing.
Yeah. You could see them in the brush piles. They were sucked all the way to the bottom of the piles, and they were holding real tight. You could hit them you could put the bait on their nose, and they would run the other way. So you could tell something was wrong. They weren't acting right. And even with the 3 hours of live scope, looking at tournament results on Rayburn, 20 pounds should not have won. I mean, you look at there's 40-pound bags caught on crankbaits, and it's January. These fish are fat. But, the 6-pounder I caught it had a big gut, but it was real soft. It was like her gut was empty. my brother's big fish, she was railroad skinny. And I mean, yeah, I'm not real sure what's going on in Rayburn right now. I just know I caught a couple good fish, and I edged out whole by a few ounces.
Well, and
so
it's possible that it could have just been a big older male. I mean, maybe it wasn't a female actually. It possibly could have been a male. But here's my question: the 3-hour rule for forward-facing sonar at the weigh-in, was there any chatter? You know, I liked it, I didn't like it. But you told me something that co-anglers were saying that I caught me off guard a little bit.
No, so I never heard a complaint about forward facing. I was hearing more complaints about how the lake was fishing. Just everybody had a tough practice, and even some of the hammers, you could hear they had 1 or 2 good days in practice, but like they're used to, they go out there and they're catching 20, 25 pounds a day easily, and in a week-long practice they're having 2 or 3 good days. And it's just how Rayburn is. The fish change up so much.
But you made a comment to me. You made a comment to me yesterday that some of the co-anglers you had heard were up. You know, they were like, I didn't like the 3-hour rule because once we turned it off, we didn't know if we were around fish anymore.
So last year, I fished 2 BFLs. I won the Toledo one and got 7th in the super tournament. And I asked every one of my co-anglers, because about 99% of the time I'm gonna be trolling around on a flat, on shad, but I'm scoping if I'm allowed to. That's how you're gonna win. Well, so I asked every one of my co's, and it was not, maybe they were just being nice to my face, but nobody complained about live scope. Everybody. I had one guy in the super tournament, and I said, "Be honest." I said, "You ain't gonna hurt my feelings." What's your opinion on live scope? And he said, honestly, we're fishing for 2 totally different fish. And if you're no scoping and dragging a Carolina rig and I'm doing the same thing, we're going for the same fish. But if you're out there scoping for the singles or the couple roamers out there and I'm dragging off the back of the boat, we're going for 2 totally different fish. And I said, so you wouldn't rather be in a boat with a dude going down flipping bushes? And he said, nope. He said, if we're going down bushes, we're fishing for the same thing. I said, I can understand that. I can also understand people not liking live scope.
Yeah, there's definitely a case either way.
Yeah.
Because if they're on shad balls and I'm out in 50 foot of water chasing shad balls, I'm sorry, co-angler, but you're gonna have a harder time. Now,
absolutely.
Now there's still ways to catch them, and co-anglers still do catch them. And I commend them for that. It would be harder for me to catch them off the back deck. I mean, it is what it is.
There's a lot of different ways to take that argument. Like you said, you could be out there in 50 foot of water, and you know they're out in the middle of the lake, and you know.
Right.
But so let me ask you this
on the whole thing.
Go ahead.
Is my opinion is everybody is edgy on the whole live scoping rule. I would rather them keep live scope. But what you hear the same argument is everybody doesn't like going out chasing the suspenders that nobody gets to throw at. That's what everybody's having an issue with, I think. So it wasn't that hard for them to ban an A-rig. Why don't we take away the jig head minnow, and not just the one bait, but the whole technique the jig head going out in the middle of the lake? Because if you think just about 90% of the tournaments are getting one on a jig head minnow now.
Yeah.
All times of the year. So if you want to make it more interesting, me personally, I can catch them on a jig head minnow. I feel like I'm pretty good at it. I've put my time in to learn it, but I have more fun scoping with a jig or a worm or a glide bait or a swim bait or
or a jerk bait.
Live scope or a jerk bait. Like there's so much other. Live scope's so much bigger than what these people are simplifying it to be, where it's just throw it a dot and catch it. And the people that are doing that are the people who they haven't put their time in to realize what's actually happening. So it's a big ordeal, and everybody has their own opinion, and they'll they'll figure out a solution. But my personal opinion is take away the bait that's winning all the tournaments and leave the technology, because the technology is a whole lot deeper than what people are making it out to be.
That's a
Now,
good perspective.
I give you credit on that. Now, of course, you can't, like, get rid of a jig head minnow. That would be, you can't. That would be difficult to do. But I do like your opinion on that. And it's the first time I've heard it put that way, and I respect that. Let me ask you this: what do you think you could have caught if you could have scoped all day?
If I got to stay in that area, yeah, I could have
Just
got
scoping
around
all day.
45. Yeah, because I was in an area with good fish. So they in Rayburn, in the backing up to that super tournament, talking to people during the tournament, there was bite windows. The first day of the tournament, it was from 9 to 12. Everybody caught their weight from morning to at noon. Nobody got a bite for the most part. Day 2, everybody struggled till about 1 o'clock. Everybody caught their weight towards the end of the day. So on Rayburn and Toledo and most of these lakes, if you're in an area with fish, there's no need to leave. They will eventually bite. And it's bite windows, whether that's you cranking them, whether that just like old school with a crankbait, you can throw in a school and they won't bite nothing but a drop shot. All of a sudden you throw a crankbait in them and they all fire up, and it's just how fish are, and it's just bite windows, and you got to be on them when they're biting. And I feel like if I could have sat there and milked it, I might could have caught a couple more 5+ pounders. Yeah, I was around them. So.
Yeah. Another issue y'all had for this tournament, there was a big high school tournament going on and another event going on at the same time. I think that's another reason the weights were down a little bit. There was a lot of fish that were just split up.
There was a high school tournament out of
Jackson Hill.
Jackson Hill. So that there was a lot of boats. There was a lot of pressure, and I think that doesn't help the suspenders or the shad balls, and the warm weather did not help anything. And I don't know, you were on a warming trend in December. That's never a good thing.
Right.
And it didn't cool off enough. And so I don't know. It was tough fishing for everybody because, like I said, as you can clearly see, 20 pounds should not have won Rayburn.
Right. And the lake's down 9 feet.
The lake's down 9 feet. That's also because all these high spots that you can go fish, they're all out the water.
Yeah.
And it's dangerous to run right now. You have to be careful when you're running, and all of the shallow stuff. Obviously the bushes aren't in the water, but there's very, very, very little grass on the lake. There's no laydowns. There's the steep banks are damn near out the water. So I mean, it's you were limited to what you could fish as far as structure, and I idled for days trying to find that one magical school that Rayburn's known for. You can go in and crank 35 pounds plus, and I can tell you, I didn't see hardly anything on down inside, and I idled my butt off. I just don't know if they were doing it. I'm honest to God, if I go back, if I would have went back Sunday after the tournament and I had 12 pounds, I wouldn't have been surprised. I just had a good day on the day that I needed to have a good day.
So Evan,
it worked out.
What are you fishing? Are you going to finish out with the BFLs? What are you fishing the rest of the year now that you graduated from college?
Hell, if they'll let me, I'm going to try to fish them all.
Surely they're going to let you. I mean, you got DQ'd from one tournament.
Yeah. No, Sunday I went and pre-fished on Toledo, getting ready for the next BFL. I don't know, I had 25-ish pounds, so hopefully that'll stay. But I'm trying to fish the BFLs. There's a Toyota on Rayburn. Might get into that one. The Fishers of Men we're getting in. The Texas Team Trails we're getting in. The Burfords and Poches and Despina.
Yeah.
Just all the big money around here is what we're going to try to go after.
Yeah. All right.
Hey, real quick, and I forgot to ask you about this earlier, but I want to go back. Your brother got DQ'd as well, I'm assuming. So
he did. Yep.
So 1st and 7th play. He was 7th. So 1st and 7th got DQ'd. Okay, gotcha. Just wanted to clarify. I assume
Yeah.
that, but surely I just wanted to clarify there. But Evan, man, I appreciate it. I appreciate you coming on, just being honest about the whole situation,
Yeah.
telling your side of the story and, how it all went down, and you wanted to kind of clear the air out there. And I appreciate that. I respect that, man. Good luck going forward. Hope you have a better year as far as that goes, but just watch those cell phone rules, man.
Yep.
Oh yeah. That's what my biggest thing is. Not hiding the broken rule. It's pretty obvious what I did. But I did not, me or my brother, we did not gain an edge on anybody. I caught what I caught. He caught what he caught. And if all we had to do is not text each other, and everything would have been fine. But it's whatever, it happened, and moving on from it. And hopefully I'm gonna shoot for 30 plus on Toledo, and we're gonna try to win another one.
Well, it's a valuable lesson learned, and just move on.
It is.
And
I know I learned my lesson, but I'm hoping other people can learn their lesson from me.
Yes. Amen. Yeah. All right, Evan. Yeah. Thank you, bud. We appreciate you. Best of luck the rest of the year, and all the way to hopefully be in the championship, make the regionals with the BFL, and all I got to say is fork 'em demons.
Yes, sir. Thank you for having me.
All right, dude. All right, Kev, Evan Howe. He did a good job. I commend him for coming on with us. He didn't have to do that.
Right.
Agreed. So he had every reason to not come on. Embarrassment or whatever you want to call it, but says a lot about him as a young man. I'm impressed with him. And
he did a good job of telling his side of the story, Steve. There, I mean, guys, the cell phones, I see that more than I see anything else. You make sure when you enter a tournament what the cell phone policy is. I have seen it many a times that people that didn't win or something that could have got DQ'd because I know they're texting, I know they're calling, they're on freaking social media. I mean, I've seen people on social media during tournaments. You have to check that cell phone policy. And, Steve, we can't put it just on the younger generation, us too. I mean, I've had a cell phone since 2003 now. I mean,
right.
Going back to when I graduated high school, I could have a cell phone. So we're used to it as well. So.
But I think, and even these kids coming out of these high school tournaments, and I don't know what the rules are for those, and maybe they're used to communicating with each other on the water like that. I don't know, because I don't know the rules for the high school events. College, I would think they would be more geared towards the BFL type rules, if I had to guess. You did
anymore.
college.
I don't know about those rules anymore, Steve. I do wish BFL worded it differently and maybe had a communication section.
Yeah.
Because again, the no cell phone rule was under boat operation, which you don't think of reading cell phone. You should know all the rules. Don't get me wrong.
Right.
And it was in there. It was Rule 10. And that has been a BFL rule for a long time.
Oh, absolutely.
That has been a BFL rule for a long time, because back when I started fishing, I could not be on my cell phone. I put it up, and if it rang, it didn't get answered. And if it was like my wife or something, it was emergency, it was on speakerphone. I remember tournament director who was before. Well, anyway, he's like, guys, if you have to answer a phone call, it was before Mark though. It's on speakerphone.
Yeah.
And your co-angler can hear it. So the cell phone thing has always been there. I don't know how long Evan's been fishing it. But the young generation is coming into these tournaments and they're not fishing college anymore. And they got fish. Guys, you got to know the rules. I mean, Evan, I didn't realize I was breaking a rule.
And
you
look,
got to know the rules.
There's a reason why they have rules meetings before some of these tournaments, and
not anymore though, Steve. They don't do it anymore.
Well, that's what I'm wondering. Since COVID, have some of them brought the rule? I know ABA had eliminated those meetings. We'd have them on the water before takeoff. And we didn't go over every single rule. But again, it's your responsibility as an angler to read the rules, whether you're fishing Despino, club, ABA, anything. It's there, and some of them are different. Some of them have different rules. You better know the rules for whatever you're fishing. Fishers of men, you better know the rules, and because otherwise you can get yourself in a bind. But anyhow, again, we do appreciate Evan and wish him nothing but the best. So hopefully we'll never have him on for that again. So, but anyhow, all right, we're going to take another quick break and recognize a few of our sponsors. We've got lake reports coming up. We're going to wrap up. We got a couple of hot topics we'll go over as well about especially the low water at Sam Rayburn, and but all that and more when we return. You're watching Tackle Talk Live. We'll be right back.
The Lakes Insurance Agency is an independent insurance agency taking care of Texans' insurance needs for over 25 years, offering auto, homeowners, boat, RV, life, health, and commercial insurance. Owner Clark Moore is a local fishing guide and tournament angler who understands your insurance needs and wants to be your go-to guide for all your insurance needs. For a free quote, give him a call and see why so many Texans trust the Lake Insurance Agency. 2 locations to serve you in both Nacogdoches and Bravos, Texas, or give them a call at 936-205-4467.
The next time you're headed for Toledo Bend or Sam Rayburn, stop by Keith's Toledo Bend Tackle. They have an awesome supply of everything you'll need to catch the big ones. Whether your trip calls for bass fishing, white perch tackle, catfish bait, or the ultimate fighting shiners, Keith's Tackle has you covered. Keith and former Elite Series pro Ben Matsubu also have the latest information on what, how, and where you need to be fishing on Sam Rayburn or the Bend. So for all your tackle needs, check out Keith's Toledo Bend Tackle, located just off Highway 21 on the Texas side of Toledo Bend, or call 409-625-0181. You're watching Tackle Talk Live, a show dedicated to making you a better angler. Now back to the guys with all the inside scoop, Kevin Jean and Steve Graff.
Welcome back to our final segment here for the first show of 2026. This segment presented by the Lakeshore Insurance of Nacogdoches, Toledo Health Clinic, Cypress Knee Outdoors, Shimano, and Power Implements Marine, located in Iowa, Louisiana. Kevin, what happens if you walk in the door and say, "Hey, I watch Tackle Talk Live"?
Steve, you get $500 off the purchase of any new or used boat, and you get $50 off your service ticket. And we will be announcing pretty soon, Steve. Power Implements will have some other boats on there at the Power Implements Marina. I mean, at the dealership. They'll have some other brands that they are bringing on board for 2026, and we will be announcing those shortly. So you guys need to head over to Power Implements Marine. Tell them that Tackle Talk Live sent you and save some money.
Yeah. All right, Kev, you got the final results for the BFL?
I do. So after the disqualification, Cole Moore will be first place with 1915. Wyatt Frankins will be second place with 1908. Third place, Ricky Guy with 1906. Fourth place, William Easley with 1714. Fifth place, Jeffrey Rice with 1712. Sixth place will go to Colby Miller. So Colby jumps 2 spots because Ethan Howe's brother was in 7th. So Colby will jump from 8th to 6th with 1701. Hut Reeves will go to 7th, 1614. Joshua Teapley will go to 8th. James Larimore will go to 9th, and Doug Odom will go to 10th with 1414. Took 1414 to get a check. Originally paid 25 spots. The new 25th place will be 1208. How many boats they have, Steve?
123 is what I was told.
Yeah, no, it's not bad. That's honestly, it's more than I thought they was going to have. I'll be honest.
Yeah. I was expecting about 100. Now, the guys I have talked to that fished that event, they're guys that were, I guess, I don't know if they were disgruntled. I don't know what the problem was at the BFL at Rayburn, but some of them are saying they're not going to Toledo. So they're expecting less than 100 at Toledo Bend for some reason. I don't know why. I would have thought Toledo, with normal water, they'd be excited about going to Toledo Bend. I would be.
Toledo's fishing way better than Rayburn is right now.
Exactly. I'm like,
way better than Rayburn.
So it'll be interesting to see their turnout there. I hope it's better than what I'm hearing people saying it's going to be, but I would expect it equal at least 120 to 123 again if it was me, but maybe I'm wrong. I don't know. We'll see. Okay. All right. Kevin, I guess here's the next question. Now that we're on that the participation, did MLF get the results it was after in terms of angler participation with the 3-hour rule change on forward facing sonar? Now, that being asked, because I'm a guy that got a couple of phone calls, to be in the tournament. Would you come back? Blah blah blah. Need boaters. We need boaters. Well, I thought they were always short co-anglers. This year for the Sam Rayburn, they had more co-anglers than they had boaters.
That's the part that shocked me.
Yeah, and I was like, okay, you got your co-anglers back. So really it's the boaters now they're trying to get to come back. They're trying to get more boaters back in it again. Of course, when me and you probably fished it back in the heyday, there was 200 minimum. I mean, every BFL had 200
25,
yeah. Yeah, I mean, it was full field every tournament. But obviously times have changed, especially since COVID. But anyhow, your opinion, did the 3-hour rule change have an effect on the tournament field participation? I'm not seeing it right now.
No, I don't feel like it changed the. I don't feel like it changed the participation. Honestly, it was a little bit more than I thought it was going to be.
Yeah,
I think they got the participation they would have got whether they'd had forward facing sonar or not. I think those guys that are against forward facing sonar are still not fishing it because it's still allowed. So I don't think reducing the hours of that you can look at your screen, I don't think that helped or really hurt the turnout. I will say this, and it's the reason I asked Evan how much he thought he could have. What I see with this, Steve, and what it has done, it has brought the winning weights down to where everybody feels like they can compete. 20 pounds won this thing.
You just went where I wanted to go. Yeah.
Evan Howe was first place. Colmore was second. Wyatt Frankens was third. 3 guys that if you give them a full day with scope, they're 25 plus.
Yeah.
All 3 of them, in my opinion.
Yeah.
My opinion. All 3 of them is 25 plus if you give them a full day with a live scope. And then, but this brought them back down to where guys that had 12 pounds go, man, couple fish or 1 kicker, and I'm in this.
Yeah.
They feel like they can compete now to whereas you have 3 scopers that's 25 plus and 5th place is 18 and first and second, third is 25 plus. I can't even compete in that. I think that is what happened here.
And I think the low weights encourage some of the non-scoper guys that don't like it. A lot of guys, including myself, I feel like, hey, I get on the right, I can catch 20 pounds. That makes you competitive. You're exactly right. A lot of guys are going to look at this like, well, you know what? Maybe I need to go back and they only caught 20 pounds and they had 3 hours of scoping. Maybe I need to get back in this deal again. Maybe I can compete. And so I'm thinking the low weight turnout also encouraged in future people to sign up. Next, Rayburn is not low. Guys, listen to me. It's not low because of work on the dam. All right. That damn work has been done. Supposedly it's over. I know a guy that drives across it every day. He said, there ain't been no work on that dam in 2 months. So the problem is we ain't got no rain, Kevin. There's been no rain to fill it back up. And we're in a drought right here, especially in Northwest Louisiana. We're under a burn ban. My lake is 4 feet low on Sibley. They had to pump water in Sibley to get the lake level back up. And so it's not, everybody's blaming, no, they should have already been done with this work. As far as I know, they're done with the work. The work ain't the problem now. Now we got to get some rain. And so anyway, next thing, Kev, the warming trend, and Evan kind of touched on that a little bit. This warming trend, which in my opinion, when I saw what was going on, and especially around Christmas Day and that week, I was even thinking about, because you start getting tournament mode a little bit. And I got to thinking to myself, dude, them suckers are going to pull up on them shallow flats, and you're going to be able to chunk and wind with a trap and smoke some fish with this warming trend. but evidently that was not the case.
No, it wasn't, Steve. So this is going to be a very weird January because I think we're supposed to get some cold weather coming up.
Yeah, I think next week, a little cooler weather coming back in. And
And
some rain coming in this week, the end of the week.
I forget what year it was. I want to say maybe 2014. No, I'm sorry. 2012 or 2013. Gleason and I won a tournament. I forget what tournament it was. Sight fishing. It was January 27th. I'll never forget. We were sight fishing. That same year, there was not another group of fish pulled up till mid March.
Wow.
Like we sight fished for 2 weeks, the end of January, and then we didn't see another fish on the bed till because we had a cold snap in February.
Yeah.
That next group just hadn't pulled up. It was too early. Those ones that are eager and wanting to go, they're going to go when they're just ready to go up there and do their thing.
Right.
After that first group, the other group's going to kind of be on time. But man, it's going to make it an interesting January because I feel like we're fixing to get in the cold snap. These fish are not ready for it. They feel like winter is over. They feel like spring's around the corner. So they're going to get hit in the head when this cold snap comes. Now, how big the cold snap is, I haven't looked that far ahead.
Right.
But there's some big tournaments coming up February, end of January, the Outlaw Outdoors tournament, the last weekend of January. So it's going to be interesting to see what these fish do by then.
And year after year, February is usually our worst month. It's when we usually have a major cold snap come through.
Oh, yes.
January, you'll have some days like they call them Indian summers, which is what we're having basically right now. It's been warm for the whole first week of January again. And, but anyhow, I think February, we may have a rude awakening come through and hopefully won't be nothing major like ice storms or nothing like that. But anyway, and the prediction, according to some long range weather forecasters and meteorologists, is that we're not going to have a strong winter at all, that it's going to be a very mild winter. So, but as we all know, that's a prediction. Only time will tell. Okay.
And Evan said he caught those fish in 12 foot of water.
Yeah. Which to me, those are staging fish.
That he caught with his bigger one, or his bigger one. He caught a 5-pounder without floor-facing sonar. So.
Yeah.
I haven't talked to Cole or White. I don't know if they were scoping or not. Look, they can catch it. I don't care how you want to go. If you want to rip the four-face sonar off them two's boat, that don't matter.
Yeah.
They're still going to catch them. I'm going to say that. You can take four-face on Evan as well. You can take four-face sonar off their boat. Guys, they're still going to catch them. They're going to catch them.
Right.
But they are very, very good with it also.
Yeah.
So.
Yep. I tend to agree. All right. Lake levels as of today. We'll start with Toledo Bend since that's the next BFL coming up. 172 is pool. It's at 167.83. It's down 4.17 feet. Sam Rayburn is at 155.07. Pool is 164. It's down 9.33 feet. Lake of the Pines is normal pool is 230. It's at 228.53. It's down 1.47 feet. And Lake Fork, Texas, 403 is pool. 400.03 is where it's at. So it's down 2.97 feet, right at 3 foot. So that kind of gives you an idea of what's going on, what the lake levels are at on especially those 4 major bodies of water that we tend to cover things on. So that's why I list those the way we do. But anyway, next thing I got, Kevin, tip of the week. Guys, read and understand the rules in all bass tournaments. And I capitalize all because I'm telling you, I can't
Everyone's
tell you,
different.
every tournament's different. Some scope, no scope. Now you got 3-hour rules in some deals, some you don't. I mean, you better know your rules and what you're fishing, whether it's Fishers of Men, the Spino Tire, Bert Poche, or the Dylan Poche event. You better know what those rules are. And look, guys, just follow them. And again, to all you co-anglers, I'm telling y'all, it's your responsibility. That's why you're in the boat, guys. There's a responsibility for co-anglers. The reason why they even have co-anglers is because of accountability. That's what you're there for. That's why MLF, FLW years ago, they put a co-angler in the boat just to make sure everybody's doing what they're supposed to be doing, especially the pro side. Are they doing something they ain't supposed to be doing? Are they doing something shady? It's your job to report that. I've been a co-angler on FLW Tour back in the early 2000s. It was my job. If I saw one of my guys doing something he wasn't supposed to do, or he got out of the boat and retrieved the bait or retrieved the fish, it's my job to report that. That's my job as a co-angler. It's nothing personal. It's your job. And so you guys make sure you do your job. That's what you're there for. And Kevin, I'm off my high horse on that now.
I was letting you go with it. I was going to let you go with it on the whole co-angler thing.
Get my dandruff up on stuff like that.
Steve, I do not have a Shimano tip of the week because Shimano is releasing new products on January 9th here in a couple of days. Got some really good stuff. Next week on our show next week, I'll be able to talk about those new products and what I'm excited for here in our territory. We got a new rod coming that I'm really, really excited about. But Steve, look, and we kind of, man, first show of the year, we're back and we come out with this show. There's a DQ right off the bat. So
yeah,
we kind of had to jump straight into that. Guys, I think year 7, Steve. What year?
Yeah, I think it is year 7. Yeah.
Going into this is going into year 7.
Yeah.
And I just want to kind of give people the stats. First of all, thank you. Thank you for watching. Thank you for all you do. Kind of give you stats for 2025. Steve, 7 years ago, me and you and our producer sat down and we talked about this. I never thought it would be what it is today. We are at 5,200 followers on Facebook. That is just followers. Our YouTube stats for 2025, we are at 2,311 subscribers. Last year alone, we had 39,527 views. Right at 40,000 views, Steve. 40,000 times people wanted to watch us for some reason. 9,000 hours watched on YouTube. YouTube alone, 9,000 hours watched. 65% of those views are not subscribed. So people, guys, if you're watching this, especially if you're watching this on YouTube, please subscribe to the channel. If you're watching on Facebook, please make sure you're liking and following that. On Spotify, we are ranked the top 15% of videos nationally on Spotify. Ranked as a Spotify Rising Star, we growth of 48%, total audience 683%. So numbers, everything is still projecting up, Steve. And just want to say thank you to everybody. We're going into year 7 on this deal. Enjoying it. Again, bringing you any and everything Toledo Bend, Sam Rayburn mostly. For the locals, just want to say thank you, and we're going to go into year 7 wide open.
And one more thing I want to bring up this weekend in Shreveport is they're bringing back the Shreveport Boat and RV Show. Again, it's this Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. And I believe it's the 9th, 10th, and 11th. And so hooking up and tracking down another show that's I'm involved with in Shreveport on KWKH. Me, Gary McCoy, Mike Eccles will be live on stage from 9:30 till noon. We're going to talk about how to buy a boat, how to buy an RV, things you need to think about before you buy those items. We're going to talk about getting ready for the 2026 fishing season, things you need to do. And so if you're in Shreveport and looking for something to do this weekend and anywhere in a 1 or 2 hour radius of Shreveport and you want to come to the boat show, they're going to have RVs. Bayou Outdoor Super Center is going to be there. Louisiana Power Sports, the boat shop. It's mainly local vendors from the Shreveport Bossier Market will be there. There'll be a lot of people set up with tents, bait and tackle companies, whatever. And so it should be a really good time. If you're looking for something to do, Shreveport RV Boat Show in Shreveport Convention Center downtown. Parking is free, believe it or not. So they got plenty of parking storage garage there. Normally they charge you an arm and a leg to go in that place, but not this time. It's all parking is free at the convention center, which is where Kevin and I have both been there for the classic. The expo show has been there, and usually that's one of the complaints we always got, Kevin, was the parking fee of $25 to park the vehicle in there. But anyway, not this time. It's all free. So looking forward to seeing you. If you come in there, holler at me. I'll be up on stage, and looking forward to seeing everybody. All right, Kev, you got anything else?
I think that does it for this week, Steve.
All right. Well, we thank you. Appreciate you tuning us in. Check us out on YouTube, Facebook, Instagram, Spotify, or however way you listen to our podcast. If you'd like to become a member of our sponsorship team, please message us. We are looking for more sponsors. Always interested in having new people come on board. Message us on our Facebook page. Kevin will make sure he gets out a detail packet to you immediately. For Kevin Jean, yours truly, Steve Graff. Thanks for watching. We'll see you next week with more Tackle Talk Live.